Hi everyone, Teddy Baldassarre with TeddyBaldassarre.com. In this video, we're looking at the brand new sports GMT watch from Longines with the HydroConquest GMT. So in this video and on this channel, we cover watches available for purchase on our website, TeddyBaldassarre.com, as a full authorized dealer. So in this video, deep dive on this timepiece, final points of consideration at the end, but also throughout this video, if you have further questions, check out the link in the description down below where you can learn more and purchase the watch. But guys, without further ado, let's jump into the video, take a closer look at this watch. There have been a lot of notable releases throughout 2023, but thus far you could make the case that Longines has potentially had the strongest showing of any brand out there with some of their new models that they unveiled. Whether you're looking at their flagship models, the update to the Conquest collection, a Spirit Zulu time now at 39mm, that's enough to make most brands feel good about their overall performance for the year. But here we are sitting just about 3/4 of the way through the year, and Longines still seems like they have not lost momentum. Now unveiling a new GMT watch under the HydroConquest family, a family that is commonly associated with their dive watch format in a contemporary package, now with a true GMT movement to go along with it and a price under $3,000, making it one of the most value-packed true GMTs in Swiss watchmaking. Beginning with the completely redesigned case, more reminiscent of the Conquest 2023 models than the old HydroConquest models, here we have a case diameter of 41mm, 43.5mm including the crown guards, a thickness of 13.2mm, and a lug-to-lug of 49.2mm. While the thickness is a significant bolstering from the original 11.9mm now to accommodate the GMT movement on the inside, it is not one that is going to be noticed given the already heavy visual appearance brought forth by that bezel and crown guards while being broken up nicely from its side profile. Set between the 21mm lugs and looking first at the all-new bracelet, it features mostly brushed surfaces with hits of polishing on the link sides while tapering down to just over 18mm, terminating at a fantastic 3-piece milled clasp. Finding the perfect fit is simple, with the bracelet using split pins to remove the required links while hiding a wonderfully executed push button micro adjust under the clasp to gain or remove slightly more than 5mm from the bracelet's overall length. Turning our attention to the alternative strap options, the blue and black rubber straps that accompany their color matched dials feature curved ends that meet the case body snugly with a finely grooved texture, top tapering down and meeting an exceptional milled deployant clasp with its own micro adjustment through use of a simple push button on the inside. The green and brown dial options sport their color matched canvas NATO straps with canvas keepers and a textured and polished steel pin buckle. When looking at the case architecture, while it may look similar to the new Conquest 2023 or other HydroConquest models, upon closer inspection, you will notice that this case has been updated in virtually every single way. Vertical brushing sits atop the dial side of the case with a slight curvature to the fine lines occurring on the crown guard tops before sharply transitioning to horizontally brushed case sides interrupted at 3 where the crown guard protrudes from the body protecting the large crown. Here again we have a visual design that's similar to former HydroConquest models, though it dimensionally changes to 6.8mm for that screw down crown, with well-cut grooves providing grip before the taper transition to that dome and polished crown top decorated with the winged hourglass logo. Downswept lugs draw the eye to the case underside, where a radial brushing encompasses the laser engraved screw down steel case back, which pairs with the crown to achieve this watch's impressive 300 meters of water resistance, a specification that is rarely seen on dive watches, let alone a dive GMT. Returning to the dial side of the watch, a polished steel 120 click unidirectional bezel is set with a ceramic bezel insert hewed slightly towards the dial color. Arabic numerals denote every 10 minutes with lines at every 5 and smaller minute countdown markers reaching 15 minutes, except at 60 where a triangle sits topped with an applied polished circle lume pip. On the black and blue dial variants, we see more of a contemporary form with clean and modern white marker set, while on the olive and brown models, we see more of this vintage brown marker color being opted for in more of a gilt style. The grooves of the bezel are excellent, while the action of the bezel is crisp and snappy with small amounts of backplay. Raised slightly above the bezel rests a flat sapphire crystal with several layers of anti-reflective coating applied to both sides. Looking within that crystal, a split-colored 24-hour hour track sits on the outer edge, with Arabic numbers marking every even hour, where the even 6 and 18 are split down the center by different colors. Stepped up slightly, the main central dial holds large polished applied indices filled with superluminova marking the hours, interrupted at 3 by a framed and faceted date window with either a white color or color matched date wheel, while the printed minute track runs unobstructed just beyond its reach. The black dial stands alone as the only semi-gloss option in contrast to the more sunburst dials of the blue, brown, and olive versions. Time telling is handled with a distinctive hour hand resembling a slimmed down snowflake design, a sharpened pencil minute hand, and a lollipop second hand and painted arrow GMT hand, all with lume generously applied. Dial text is kept to a relative minimum and helps to pull the presentation together using colors to match other dial details, with the printed Longines name and applied wing hourglass logo at noon and the GMT automatic 300 meters text at 6. Legibility on these GMTs is excellent, especially on the blue and black models where there's more of this modern approach that is taken, so the contrast is going to be elevated, while the vintage styling on the brown and olive dials does hinder it slightly in comparison, but more than makes up for it with its charm, while still doing the job and not being far behind in this category. The same can be said for the watch's lume application, where the white lume shines much brighter and longer than the vintage color lume, both emitting a blue hue in low light conditions. Another point of appreciation for the dial's execution comes as the hands are distinctly different while also stretching across the dial to more accurately point to their designated position, with the GMT hand reaching that farthest point on that outer step as it gets to that 24-hour scale. While not in view and beneath the safety of the caseback, the caliber inside this Longines HydroConquest GMT presents the watch's strongest single value proposition, a true GMT caliber known as the L844.5. So this is the same movement that we have seen in the Spirit Zulu Time GMT, though it is important to note that this model does not feature the chronometer certification in the process. Now, given the lower price point, it may be a willing sacrifice, and to further that point, the models we had on hand here, all tested across 5 different positions, were all running right within cost parameters, so pretty impressive. One of the many benefits of Longines is they have proprietary movements that they are getting from their parts with ETA. But one thing that is notable about Longines, and I think they're perhaps too humble about this, is that they are assembling these movements on site within their facility before then sending them off to COSC to be tested for their certification, to then be cased up in their Zulu Time watches, which again is being done on site in their facility. We can play semantics all day, but for many classifications and definitions, these are in-house movements and they deliver on the spec as well. Compared to something like the ETA 2893 or the SW330 collar GMT movements you might otherwise find at this price point for a watch, these come with a silicone balance spring and also true GMT function, which at that first point, when pulling out the crown, you then will be able to adjust the local hour hand without stopping the balance and interrupting any of the other hand functions. In other words, making it very easy when you land in a new time zone. The movement operates at a very unconventional beat frequency of 25,200 vibrations per hour or 3.5 hertz. It does feature hacking and hand winding, so hacking stopping the second when you pull the crown to the farthest position, and is right there with the best of them in this price range with a 72-hour power reserve. So now to unpack when looking at this new Longines HydroConquest GMT. So a couple points of consideration on the negative or maybe some points of contention, and then we'll shift into the pros here. One, for legibility, I think overall these watches are very good in that category, but the GMT, since this is the HydroConquest GMT, the scale is very small in comparison to other GMTs that you're going to find out there. The other point comes down to mostly preference here, as you are dealing with a variety of different indice styles. If you are fond of the previous HydroConquest or HydroConquest in that diving format, then this might be a separation for what you're looking for. But now shifting into the pros. Strap and bracelet options are all exceptional. Longines is one of the best in the category for this. They usually don't cut corners on both sides, and this is another example of exactly that. Also, the water resistance of these watches is absolutely fantastic. To get a GMT function with 300 meters of water resistance, you cannot ask for much more. But I think the main reason why this watch is so compelling is the combination of all these elements: ceramic insert, well-finished case, with the movement on the inside, and where it sits within the market at large. You look at the Zulu Time, that is seated just around $3,000. This is cutting that price by $300. Now, The reason for that is for the COSC certification, but with many of these watches typically running close to that spec out of the box, it's hard to dispute the value being presented by this watch. This offers everyday viability, 300 meters of water resistance, true GMT movement, and for those that are looking for that kind of do-it-all function, GMT function, dive wash capable with great water resistance from a brand like Longines that is as good as any in the category of GMTs. Simply put, this is another great release from Longines, and I can say it again, they're absolutely on a roll. Well, all right, everybody, that is all we have for this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. Really would appreciate that. It does help out the channel. Also, if you're in the market for this watch, it is available on TeddyBaldassarre.com. TeddyBaldassarre.com is a full authorized dealer of all the brands that we carry. Quick and fast fulfillment, dedicated customer support, and a full factory warranty for all the products that we offer. How we're also able to fund all of our productions here, as well as on our main channel, is through selling watches on our site. So if you are in the market, we would absolutely love to have your business. It allows us to keep doing what we're doing, and we love what we do here. But guys, thank you again so much for watching. Be well, and I will see you all very soon.